In this tutorial, we are going to learn one more data type, which is list. Let's see what is list, how does it look like, and how to use it. Let's begin. We need list to store multiple values in one variable. For example, there are totally 5 subjects and we want to store all the 5 subject marks in one variable. How can we do that? For that, we can use list. Let's see. I'm creating a variable student1 and I'm creating a list which is nothing but square bracket. So whenever we use square bracket, which means we are creating a list. Inside the square bracket, we can pass multiple values. In this case, we are going to enter 5 subject marks. Let's say English, math, chemistry, physics, and biology. Let's print it. We got all the 5 marks stored in one variable. Also, it is possible to store different type of data in one variable. Let's see. I'm creating one more variable A and I'm creating a list. Inside the list, first I'm passing a string, then a float value, then a integer, after that boolean. Let's see. This is also works, which means we can store any type of data in a list. Can we store list inside the list? Let's try. I'm creating a variable c equal to some random numbers. Then I'm creating one more variable d and I'm storing some string. Okay, now I'm going to store these two lists in one more new list. Let's say f equal to c comma d. Let's see. We got list inside the list. It is called nested list. This is how we can create a list. Now let's see what we can do with list. Do you remember in strings we did some operations with string? Likewise, here also we can do some operations with list. Let's see. First, let's see what is index and slicing. Index is nothing but if we want to fetch any one element from the list, we can use index number. For example, I want to fetch 4. For that, I have to mention the index number of 4. In this case, 4 is located in the 0th index. So, we have to mention 0. It will give us 4. Let's say I want to fetch 5. 5 is located in the first index. We got 5. This time 6. 6 is located in the second index. Then 7, third index. 8, fourth index. There are two ways to fetch the last number. One is we can use the actual index number, and the second way is we can use minus value, -1. It will give the last value. Alright, this is how index works. Slicing is nothing. If we want to fetch multiple elements from a list, we have to use slicing. Slicing is also similar to index, but here we have to mention where it should start and where it should end. So for example, I want to fetch 5, 6, 7. It should start from 1 and it should end at 4. We got 5, 6, 7. Let's say this time I want to fetch 4, 5, 6. So it should start from 0 and ends at 3. We got 4, 5, 6. This is how slicing works. Now there are some inbuilt functions which we can use to modify list. Let's see them one by one. After entering the variable name, just enter dot, you will see the pop-up. If you don't see the pop-up immediately, just press Ctrl and space together. You will see the pop-up. The first function is append function. Let's see what append function does. If you want to add any new value, you can append it. Let's check. Now we got 100 appended to the list. This is how append function works. Now let's move to the next function. Next function is clear. Clear function will clear all the elements from the list. And the next function is copy. It will copy all the elements from the list. Next one is count. We can use the count function to count how many times a particular element got repeated. For example, I am passing 8. We got 2 because there are two 8s in the list. That's why we got 2. Now let's move to the next function. Next function is extend. You can extend the list by adding some numbers. For example, I want to add 100, 200 and 300. Let's see. Now this list has been added to this list. That's why we got this extended list. This is how extend function works. Now let's move to next function. Next function is index. We can find out where the particular element is located. I am passing 7. Let's see. We got 3 because 7 is located at the index 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's why we got 3. Now let's move to the next one. Next one is insert. We can insert new number in a list. For example, I want to insert 10 in between 5 and 6. First I have to mention the index number, then I have to mention the value. We got 10 inserted in between 5 and 6. This is what insert function does. Let's move to the next one. Next one is pop. We can take any element out of the list. For example, I want to take 10 out of the list. For that, I can mention the index number. For example, I'm passing 2. We got 10 out. There is no 10 in the list. This is what pop function does. Now let's move to next one. Next one is remove. If you want to remove any element from the list, you can pause the element. I want to remove 100. In this list, there are 200, but in this list, there is only 100 because 100 has been removed. This is how remove function works. Now, the next function is reverse. Let's see what reverse does. Here the first value is 4 and the last value is 300. But here the first value is 300 and the last value is 400. So this is how reverse function works. And the final one is sort. It is very easy. It will sort the list. That's it. Now I'm going to show you how to use list in for loop. Now I want to take all the elements from the list and I want to print them one by one. How can I do that? For that, I can use for loop. For I in list print I. All the elements got printed one by one. That's it. That's all about list. And in the next tutorial, we will discuss about tuples. Alright, see you then.